Ladies and gentlemen, every legal system is ultimately measured not only by the laws it enacts, but by the justice it delivers, the people it protects, and the confidence it inspires. It is therefore a privilege to welcome you to this stakeholder consultation workshop on the possible establishment of a sex offender register system in Zimbabwe. Your presence reflects our shared commitment to strengthening Zimbabwe's justice system through evidence-based law reform, meaningful dialogue, and constructive partnership. At the outset, I wish to express the government of Zimbabwe's sincere appreciation to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, the Center for Applied Legal Research, CALR, and all our development partners for their invaluable support in making this consultation possible. I also thank each one of you for accepting our invitation and for contributing your expertise to this important national conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabwe's constitution commits us to building a democratic society founded on justice, human dignity, equality, and the rule of law. It also places a responsibility upon the state to protect every person from violence, abuse, and exploitation, while safeguarding the fundamental rights and freedoms guaranteed to all. It is within this framework that we meet today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Zimbabwe Law Development Commission is mandated to keep our laws under continuous review and to recommend reforms where necessary. That responsibility requires us to ensure that our legal framework remains responsive to emerging challenges, reflects our values, and serves the need of our society. The question before us is therefore not simply whether Zimbabwe should establish a sex offender register. Rather, it is whether such a system would strengthen the protection of vulnerable persons, support the administration of justice, and enhance public confidence while remaining fully consistent with our laws and capable of effective implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, sexual violence remains one of the gravest violations of human dignity. Although reported cases remain unacceptably high, research consistently demonstrates that many incidents go unreported because of fear, stigma, and other barriers faced by victims. Behind every statistic is a life interrupted, a family affected, and a community diminished. These realities compel us to examine whether our legal and institutional responses remain adequate to protect those most at risk. Ladies and gentlemen, around the world, governments have adopted different approaches to addressing sexual offending. Some have established sex offender registers as part of broader child protection frameworks, while others have strengthened offender management and information sharing through different legal mechanisms. Within our region, countries have adopted approaches that reflect their own legal frameworks, institutional capacities, and policy priorities. These experiences offer valuable lessons, but they do not provide ready-made solutions. In this regard, Zimbabwe must determine what best serves its own legal traditions and national circumstances. Any proposal to establish a sex offender register raises significant legal and policy considerations. It requires careful examination of issues relating to privacy, human dignity, rehabilitation, reintegration, data protection, institutional capacity, and ultimately whether such a system would effectively contribute to preventing sexual offending and protecting vulnerable members of our society. Our task is therefore to strike the appropriate balance between protecting the public and preserving the constitutional rights that define our democratic legal order. Justice demands both accountability and fairness. It requires us to protect those who are vulnerable while ensuring that every legal measure we adopt is appropriate, necessary, and effective. That is why today's consultation is so important, ladies and gentlemen. We are not gathered to endorse a predetermined outcome. We are here to examine the evidence. We are here to learn from comparative experience. And we are here to determine which legal framework best serves Zimbabwe's interests. Ladies and gentlemen, the quality of law reform depends upon the quality of consultation. I therefore encourage every participant to contribute openly and constructively. Your professional experience, institutional knowledge, and practical insights are essential to ensuring that any recommendations emerging from the process are balanced, evidence-based, and capable of strengthening our justice system. Robust debate should be welcomed because thoughtful scrutiny is the foundation of sound legislation. Through respectful dialogue and informed analysis, we can develop recommendations that are both practically and legally sound. The work we undertake today extends beyond consideration of a single legislative proposal. It speaks to the kind of justice system we seek to build, one that protects the vulnerable, respects human rights, strengthens public confidence, and respects the values of our republic. The true measure of any law is not that it exists, but that it serves justice, protects those who are at risk, and earns the confidence of the people it is intended to serve. Together, let us build legal institutions that protect the vulnerable, uphold the rule of law, and strengthen public confidence in the administration of justice. With those remarks, it is my honor and privilege to declare this stakeholder consultation workshop on the establishment of a sex offender register system in Zimbabwe officially open. I thank you.